Oh, hello, Trade Pros. Wow, the camera's way too far back. I hope you guys are having a great day. Let me just move this camera forward a bit. Happy Friday to everyone. We got a great update for you today. The TV's off up top, as you can see. Haven't turned it on yet. Today we got a few things to talk about in the morning market update that are equally exciting and opportunistic for us. We had non-farm payrolls this morning. We'll talk about that and how that shaped out. Some news out of Iran, and that's it. All right. So let's start out by talking about the first thing that's most important here that everyone's wondering. All right. Western governments are saying that Iran shot down the plane that crashed, leaving the airport 2 minutes after takeoff. All right. And Iran's denying it. They're saying, no, we didn't. And they're looking for proof. The air crash investigation is ongoing, but Iran is not letting either the plane manufacturer or any Western authorities in there to help investigate. They're handling it themselves. All right. There's news out there that it was shot down by a missile, and there's actually some video footage that shows that it could have been shot down by a missile. Here's my take on this. I don't think that it was an intentional act. I don't think Iran shoots down a plane with 82 Iranians in it, which doesn't make sense. What I do think happened is their anti-missile aircraft or their anti-missile systems or whatever might have been made a false identification and shot the rocket that took down the plane, if that's the case. All right. This is why you're not really seeing the market panic. I think it's a very unfortunate event, but I think it's accidental. And to me, the bigger warfare would occur electronically. I read a pretty interesting article last night on Bloomberg that really talked about how warfare these days has been more cyber warfare has been fought online, and there isn't any regulation or restriction on how much damage you can cause in a war scenario. All right, there are no accords before it. So I think, as interesting as this is, or not as interesting, but as much as it might worry some people, it's very tragic. So our condolences, obviously, to everyone on that flight. It's really sad. There were 60 some odd Canadians as well, including some full families on there, 66 children. It's really sad. It really is. And we send them all love, joy, and healing energy and happiness. But, it's an unfortunate event that I believe is accidental. I don't know, though. More information can come out. All right. So, in that news, Boeing rallies upward. The 737 MAX, or the 737 that was shot down or went down on the airport, we don't know yet, was believed to be due to a mechanical failure, which obviously is a really bad thing for Boeing. They're having a hard time already. Now another plane goes down due to mechanical failure. But now that everyone's starting to suspect more of a missile attack or some kind of action that took it down. If you look at the crash scene of this Boeing, I'm somebody who used to really be into aviation, who wanted to be a pilot, actually. I'm kind of happy I didn't do that career. But, and I watched all those air crash investigation shows. You remember those, Vicky? Have you ever seen them? Yeah. I've watched them all with great interest. And this crash site literally looked like pieces no bigger than the size of my head just scattered on a field. That's not how a plane crashes, right? So I think there was some foul play there. But Boeing is off the hook for mechanical failure, so it's rallied. It went up quite a bit. But that's a short-lived excitement for Boeing because some employee emails have been leaked from 2018. All right. And here's what some of them said. One of them said, let me read it to you. I got to read it verbatim. Employees said that the 737 MAX was designed by clowns who in turn are supervised by monkeys. So one of the internal employee emails said, which I found pretty funny. It was in a message in 2018. All right. And this is apparently in response to an interaction with an FAA official. Another message said, would you put your family on a MAX simulator trained aircraft? I wouldn't, said the email to a colleague in another exchange from 2018 before the first crash happened. And the response from the colleague was no. So as you could see, these kind of messages are very troubling because it's one thing to design a product with a flaw if you had all the best intention. It's another thing to knowingly continue to create something that could cause issues. All right, that opens up a whole bunch of legal, legal openings for you to be sued outright. All right, so interesting stuff happening at Boeing. I'd love to see how it opens up. I think there's some volatility in it this morning. All right, on to the key event of today. We had non-farm payrolls, and it missed. All right, we've had the 10th consecutive year of job gains, but when Bloomberg prints an article like that, you know that this one wasn't good. They focused on the year as a whole. So here's how it came out. The expectation was for 164,000 jobs. The low end of the range was 125, high end was 266. All right, and the prior was also 266. It came out closer to the lower end of the range at 145,000. So that's about a 20,000 jobs miss. The back month was revised lower by 15,000. Also not a good thing. All right, unemployment rate stayed at 3.5%, while U.S. average earnings were down from 3.1% annualized expected to 2.9, and less than the 3.0 of the last month, which is in November. So really, it missed across the board. There were less jobs added. They were paying less for people, and also the unemployment rate stayed consistent. So that wasn't a negative impact. But 2 out of 3 components missed. And in response, S&P 500 market rallied a bit, sold off a bit, and now it's holding and consolidating near all-time highs. The thing about this is, no matter what, I mean, I don't want to do the spiel for you guys, but the economy and the market's a completely different thing. All right, if the stock market reflected the true strength of the economy, we'd be trading 300 points lower than we are. But the new ideal here, the new paradigm that many people don't get is, if you've been trained in economics, if you have an economics degree, it's completely useless in this day and age, because nothing works the way it's supposed to. And the Federal Reserve is sending that much cash for free outward in the financial markets. It impacts things. It causes assets to stretch their valuations. Right? A lot of institutional trading managers and institutional fund managers, all right, pension funds, they're on the same agreement, the same wavelength, that things are overvalued. It's hard to find value in today's market. Doesn't mean they're not buying. They're forced to buy because they got to earn a return, especially in the pension land, so you could pay out pensions and your obligations. But pension funds are underfunded and they're forced to go into higher risk assets. Why is that? Because the Fed's going to keep pumping money, and this thing could keep going as long as the Fed pumps. Yesterday, they announced the repo is going out to mid-April. All right, they're still buying $60 billion of bonds monthly, upside on equity markets, and there isn't really any risk. We're gotten to an all-time high on complacency, but this time it could just continue. All right, be careful trying to short this thing with large size money. It's not working out at the moment. You will have a time to short, but the time to short is when people go broke shorting and everyone is long. That's when you get in with the big short. All right, it's not time yet. There's still upside. In Asia, Japan's up 0.5%. Hong Kong's up 0.3. China's flat. India up 0.4. In Europe, at midday, London flat. Paris up 0.1. Frankfurt up 0.3%. U.S. futures, Dow's up 0.2. Nasdaq up 0.2. S&P up the same. We've shed off some of those gains from the non-farm payrolls miss. Crude oil down 0.2% today. Gold is down 0.3 also. But gold just recently sold off below the close, so we're actually even lower. We printed a high of 1557.60 on this news, and then we just dumped right to the downside. All right, Bitcoin's down 1.1% to mid 7,000s, actually high 7,000, 7,808. We had non-farm payrolls today, wholesale trades at 10 a.m. That's a medium impact indicator. 1 p.m. we have Baker Hughes rig count on oil. So you don't really have too much economic news coming up for the day. All right, we've disseminated this non-farm payrolls report. I think early morning we get a pullback, a sell-off, and then that sell-off hits support. And then early afternoon to the closing bell, you're going to see the ramp higher, right? All things are positive at the moment. The Iran situation is de-escalated temporarily. All right, there's an expectation for trade news or a trade war agreement to be signed from China and the U.S. next week, right, on the 15th of January. Non-farm payrolls missed, but hey, the Fed's got our back. And so I think markets are kind of in euphoric mode. And on a Friday, they could rip a little bit higher, close high, and then next week we pull back. All right, so be cautious. Today, my trading stance is wait for the pullback early on in the morning, early sell the rallies, and then mid-morning to late afternoon buy the dips. Look for some more upside. Hope that helps you guys. Have a great weekend. Be safe out there. Enjoy yourself, and have an awesome, fantastic 2 days off. Monday coming up next week. Got a lot of things happening, and volatility is going to pick up. We love you guys. Have a great day. Manager of Risk Trade, TRADEPRO. Got to turn around and open up the room. Ciao. Oh, there we go. That's nice. Thanks, Firehawk. I try. The makeup team did a good job today. That's good. Someone sends a whole bunch of love and hearts right back at you. AJSA Angry Rant. It's awesome. From your handle to see hearts, I think that's a big deal. We love you too. What else? Joseph, can we look to buy the NASDAQ at better levels after we saw a miss in NFP? NASDAQ, I think, is going to pull back as well. If you want to get long NASDAQ, look at that 9,008 level. I think there's going to be some support there. I'm not saying put in a limit order. I'm saying just pay attention when it gets there. All right. We love you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for tuning in, YouTube. We'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.